Welcome to the Wealth and Love Blueprint, where love meets logic and money reveals the truth.
Have you ever been in a relationship where you just know it's draining you? You know it's not good for your mental health, but for some reason you just can't leave? Well, you're not alone. And let me be really clear about something. It is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign that you're caught in a really powerful psychological trap. Okay, so let's get into it and figure out why.
And this quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of all the confusion. You've got this painful experience on one hand, and then these professions of love on the other, and it creates these invisible chains. In this explainer, we're going to decode those chains. We're going to look at the predictable patterns that make leaving feel not just hard, but pretty much impossible.
So, the first and honestly the most powerful trap we need to talk about isn't some unique flaw in your relationship. It's actually a super well-documented psychological pattern. It's an addictive cycle that feels like a roller coaster you're strapped into completely against your will.
This whole thing is often called the anxious-avoidant trap. And it's not just a simple personality clash, It's more like a head-on collision of really deep-seated needs. So on one side, you have the anxious partner, who really needs connection and reassurance to feel secure, and on the other side, you have the avoidant partner, who feels totally suffocated by too much closeness and just instinctively pulls away. This mismatch is what sets the stage for a really painful, repeating cycle.
And this is exactly how that cycle of addiction gets built, step by step. It starts simple, right? One person just wants to feel close. But then the other person pulls away, which of course triggers a chase. The anxious partner, who's just starved for affection at this point, finally hits a breaking point and threatens to leave. And that right there is the trigger. All of a sudden, the avoidant partner's fear of being abandoned kicks in, and they come rushing back with all the promises and all the affection in the world. And that intense reward after a long period of nothing, well, it's like a drug. It is literally what keeps you hooked, thinking, okay, this time it's going to be different. But it's not. The cycle is designed to repeat, over and over again.
So what happens when that addictive cycle starts to lose its power? When the highs just aren't high enough anymore to make you forget the lows, and you finally confront them about what's going on? Well, that's when things get even darker. That's when more direct manipulation tactics show up. And these aren't just random outbursts. They are predictable strategies designed to keep control and to completely distort your sense of reality.
And you'll almost always face one of these two responses. On the left, you've got the confession. This is where they break down, they cry, they admit they were wrong, they promise therapy, they beg for another chance. But here's the crucial part. It's a short-term performance. It's an adjustment purely designed to get you to stay. The change never actually sticks. Now on the right, we have something way more sinister, the denial. Here, they don't just deny what happened, they flip the entire script. All of a sudden, you're the problem. You're the one who's too demanding or too sensitive or just plain crazy. This is a direct assault on your perception of reality. And after hearing that over and over and over again, that your feelings are wrong, that your memories are incorrect, that you're the one causing all the problems, you inevitably start to ask yourself this exact question. You start to seriously wonder if maybe they're right. Maybe you are losing your mind.
Let me be perfectly 100% clear. No, you are not losing your mind. You are being gaslit. That feeling of intense self-doubt and confusion, it's not a sign that you're unstable. It is the intended result of the manipulation. It's a tactic specifically designed to make you question yourself so that you're easier to control.
Okay, so this brings us to the deepest, most internal part of the trap. Because beyond the cycles and the manipulation, there's this incredibly powerful force that keeps us stuck in place: fear. It's a fear that somehow convinces us that the pain we know is safer than a future we don't.
Psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it learned helplessness. It's what happens after you've been hurt or let down so many times that a part of you just gives up. You stop trying to get out because you've been conditioned to believe that getting out is impossible. You start to believe you're powerless, even when the cage door is wide open.
And the consequences of this are just devastating. Your independence slowly gets chipped away. You start to forget how to make decisions for yourself, or even just how to exist on your own. This painful situation, it becomes your normal. It becomes familiar. And that fear of being alone, which is honestly one of the biggest drivers of human misery, it becomes so paralyzing that the thought of leaving feels way more terrifying than the certainty of staying and just getting hurt all over again.
But here's the thing, you are not powerless. Just understanding these traps is the very first step to taking them apart. There is a path out of this. It's a journey, and it's about reclaiming not just your life, but your own mind. So let's look at what that path actually looks like.
I want you to think of leaving a toxic relationship like climbing a mountain. It's tough, it's treacherous, and you really shouldn't try to do it alone. So, step 1, the most critical step, is to find a climbing buddy. This could be a therapist, a support group, or just a really trusted friend who sees the situation for what it is. Step 2, and this is so important, you have to let them be your anchor to reality. Because your mind will play tricks on you. When you start to doubt your decision, when you only remember the good times and think, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad, they're going to be the ones to hold up a mirror and remind you exactly why you started climbing in the first place. And with that anchor, you can reach the summit. You can finally leave and get back to life that you 100% deserve.
Look, getting your life back doesn't happen all at once. It starts with one single step, one single decision. So the real question is, what are you going to do now? Leaving someone who refuses to change and who consistently hurts you is one of the single best decisions you can ever make for yourself. And it begins with setting one small boundary. So I'll leave you with this. What is one boundary you are setting for yourself starting today?
By aligning your heart and your finances, you unlock true growth. Subscribe to Wealth and Love Blueprint.